Alright everybody, welcome to the analysis bench here. I know that this is one of the first times I'm ever doing this on my channel, but I'm here finally doing it. I guess some of you guys already knew, and I'm going to be here and analysing and showing my forecast discussions on these current situation of these tropical systems and storms, and I will be making more of this series and episodes and parts to these, and probably try to do it on a daily scale. So it's going to be covering all sorts of tropical meteorology and other events. And okay, so today in the current lineup of the tropical world, we currently have many systems out here in the Pacific side. In the eastern Pacific side, we have 92E, we have Major Hurricane Gilma, and out over there, over the 142W mark, which marks the Central Pacific, or the international date line between the Eastern Pacific and the Central Pacific. We have Tropical Storm Hone, which has been a very long time since that name has ever popped, or it's never even popped up, but it's the first time we're seeing a Central Pacific name in over 5 years. Last was Tropical Storm Emma in 2019, which is a very long time. So alright, so as you can see, there's clearly multiple systems currently out there. This is what TT has currently, Tropical Tidbit. You can always use this website to join in and see the analysis yourself. And I try to give this information to obviously inform people and to avoid misinformation, and so other learners, intelligent mind people can actually understand and enjoy this video. So we currently have Hurricane Gilma, and I will be switching between sites as you will be seeing. But we have the Typhoon Shan now has been upgraded, and we have Invest 91W, Hone not looking too good, and we have 92E. I think this is 91E, I meant 92E. Alright, so the big deal at the moment is Typhoon Shan. So let's look at the visible satellite and let's give an analysis of what the current situation is, the forecast, and what would you expect really with this system. So currently in this loop, we can see essentially its progression. So it started as a pretty weak tropical storm, around 70 miles an hour. I mean, I say fairly weak, but it was on its weaker stages at least, before it's gradually strengthened, and over time it has blown up. And what we can see here is essentially we've got the CBs wrapping around, the convective bursts around 70 to minus 80s, wrapping around this with a curve banding type feature, and we've got the central, and you've got the CDO over here, and we have the eye potentially forming around here. We did see an eye earlier, it has since gone, which has been a very unusual progress for Shan, and it is heading generally in the northwest direction towards Japan, which is not very good at the current moment. It's currently, the eye temperature at the moment is only at, in its projections, going at minus 20 because of the cloud cover. We have this typhoon around 75 miles an hour. I agree with this analysis, at 75 miles an hour and about 983. Alright, so we have currently with us the current forecast, the best track line here. This currently is going off some of the operations, satellite operations that they're observing, and we've got differences pretty far ranging, but on the higher end where I think this system is, we're getting about 78 knots, so we're getting potential projections of the Shan already being around 85 miles an hour with the strengthening system. We've got some Dvorak analysis at the low end. I would take normally the higher numbers and try to extrapolate a mean from this. So what I'd see is that these all take account. So this one's going for this T Dvorak, and we've taken the other ones as well. We've got some bullish ones. Bullish ones go for the higher number ranges. So we've got 91, 89 miles an hour currently with this system, and even some of these other ones were just satellite analysis. They don't give pressures, they only give intensity measures, but to give an accurate mean of these would give me, in my analysis, at around 80, potentially going to 85 miles an hour, at around 977, or maybe even slightly higher now. Well, actually around the 980 range, to be honest. Right, so this currently is the diagnostics with the models currently projecting. So Shan will essentially move through this sort of path, and it will essentially progress this way is against moving generally in the mean direction northwest, and start to go due north and northwest again, and due north kind of in a path, kind of being swayed by, I believe, a high pressure system that's been consistent around the Western Pacific region. And so a lot of models are generally predicting around the Osaka region, which is a very highly populated area of Japan, and in the southern area of mainland Japan. It's a very serious threat posed to Japan, and we currently have projections on the higher bullish range, or 10. This is a 10-minute max wind readings, which is currently at the moment going around the low typhoon range, but projecting by the time it reaches this point upon its landfall, we are already starting to see very impressive sort of predictions, or potentially all the way up to super typhoon status, and some all the way down to here. But if you average these ones, and you see the general projections are starting to go upwards and potentially seeing a significant threat. My low end peak currently analysis is calling for a 130 mile an hour and a high end peak of 175 miles an hour, and I'll show you that just in a second why I believe this after this analysis. So currently we're looking at shear within the 200 to 850 pressure shear range, and we're going to see that the shear does kind of go up, and we will see some shear on the CDO and the banding of the structure. We'll see it slightly change, but over time it will rapidly decrease around its peak intensity, which is a very bad thing, around 5 knots. And currently we have sea surface temperatures of around 30 degrees Celsius, potentially even going higher, with very high above average sea surface temperatures in this range. So we could be seeing a very significant threat, and we could be seeing the humidity obviously increasing to 75, potentially could even be higher at this current moment. Okay, this is only a multi-model sort of these are a bunch of models on Tropical Tidbits that do provide a future forecast, not necessarily presenting the accurate or the absolute answer, but just a projection and what they potentially think will happen with this system as it migrates all the way across. So currently looking at around this, well, according to the H-Wolf model, looking at this, but then if you see this rapidly intensifying, it will essentially pretty much gain its complete structure as typhoon status and become a sub 960 range, 954 millibar range system pretty quickly by Monday 6Z, and then this is when it rapidly really intensifies, and we're starting to see incredible potential threat to grow around this region of Japan. If we look at MSLP and max wind, this is 10-minute readings. So we do see a super typhoon status in this projection. This is only just this model, but we're seeing that it's consistent in multiple different runs. So this is just an increasing concern, but also we'll check the other models to see what they have. GFS really at the same time is calling around 945 millibar around the same time, and then it also progresses this system and does likely push this system into the major typhoon 115, 120 mile per hour range, which is much weaker than the HW, which is why you don't take only one model into account, and you take means, and you take environmental conditions rather than just the models. They don't necessarily give you the absolute answer, as they are just an AI model computer with generated temperature readings and pressure readings. This likely is the most bullish one of all the ones so far. We have a 144 10-minute reading, which is calling for about 165 miles per hour, category 5 system, leaning towards Japan. And I don't think this is an absolute, but this is just one projection of all the models. And this here is just a simulated satellite of the GFS, which is projecting the structure and what to expect. And the only thing to take in is that this system could potentially be extremely large, essentially going across this entire range. And one thing for sure is to take note that there could be widespread impact with large tropical storm wind fields that project out from the center of this system. But ultimately, this is just, again, this is just an infrared brightness temperature projection of what it could look like and may not necessarily depict what it actually is. So again, yeah, really just looking into the current state of the system, we're just going to refresh this page and see essentially the development. You can really see the way the convection kind of blows up around this structure, and really you can kind of see the general trend of this system as it's moving, kind of just in a sudden due north turn currently. It's probably just a quick jog that is currently made from its projected track, and we can see we can definitely see these easterly winds going around and the southerlies backing around with this convection really around here in the center. The core will essentially be around here, and this will essentially migrate around there. It's starting to get that good ventilation loss and that inflow, and essentially if this system moves around and wraps this totally around, we could start seeing an eye develop soon, which already had happened earlier, but it's unsure now if we're going to see it pretty soon or until when. Dry air should not be much of a problem for this system, except for the part except for when this thick band kind of encounters in this region might start thwarting this area here. I mean, you can see we'll start seeing a little bit of wispy, thinner clouds and a little bit of fuzziness on this side. But otherwise, this system is essentially all goes until it makes landfall. So it is a very big threat towards Japan, and in particular the people around the Osaka region. As for now in this current forecast, this is currently the JMA forecast cones. They have very large cones, as you can clearly see. They are projecting this system to also make potential great impacts as a violent typhoon likely within this region. So we can currently see that there is around a violent typhoon, 140 miles an hour expectation for the system as a forecast as it currently moves across this range. And currently we're looking around near Shima, Tahara, Tsu, Nagoya. I'm sorry for the pronunciations, but I'm not very good with this. There's a very large forecast currently. It's even going all the way down to Kochi and Tokushima and Wakayama, and this is obviously highly populated. So, and especially if it comes across this region in this bay, it'll cause significant storm surge problems. They're definitely over a dozen feet. Potentially, if it does do the violent typhoon expectation for the forecast. Okay, so this is today's analysis, and I hope you guys enjoyed. And make sure you keep really aware of the system. Be prepared and do not send out misinformation, and be sure to send this across and make sure people are very clear and aware of this system, Typhoon Shanshan.